Welcome to Bhutan e-learning project. I am Kumar Wakle from Lowesa Lower Secondary School. This lesson is a science lesson for Key Stage 3, that is for classes 7 and 8. So in this lesson, I am going to take you through the human digestive system. Under this topic, we are going to learn the different parts of human digestive system, the significance of different parts of human digestive system. Here, the significance include the roles and the functions of different parts of human digestive system and the whole process of human digestive system. So there are 10 organ systems in human body. And before we go to the organ system, let me take you to the cell. We know that every structure and function of every living being starts with the cell. So cell is the structural and functional unit of life. So the group of cells combine together, work together to form tissues. The group of tissues work together to carry out the specific function to form organ, and the group of organs work together to form organ system, and the 10 organ systems, when they combine and work together, it form organism. This is the organization in the living beings, including human beings. So now let us recap and let us see the 10 organ systems of human body. So first one, the circulatory system. So second organ system, we have digestive system. So third, we have endocrine system. The fourth organ system, we have excretory system. The fifth one, we have integumentary system. The sixth one, we have reproductive system, followed by muscular system, nervous system, then we have skeletal system, and finally we have respiratory system. So in this lesson, we'll focus more on digestive system. Okay, before we go to the digestive system, let us think, what is digestion? So digestion, it is a process of breaking down the large insoluble food molecules into the soluble form, which can be directly absorbed by the blood. And this digestion is a long process. It begins from the mouth, and it has to undergo so many stages, processes, till the food is made into a soluble form which can be directly absorbed by the blood. So human digestive system, let us have the overview of the human digestive system. So human digestive system consists of the two parts actually. One is, first part we call as alimentary canal that starts from the mouth till the anus, and there are glands which are also called as the helping glands or accessory glands, which secrete digestive enzymes that helps in digestion. This is the overview of the alimentary canal and the accessory glands. Okay, now let us learn the parts of human digestive system. So the first part we have is the mouth. The digestion begins from the mouth. The next we have is the esophagus, then stomach. Next we have small intestine, then large intestine, rectum, and anus. And these are called as alimentary canal. Together we call as alimentary canal. These are the main parts of human digestive system. And we have the glands called as accessory glands that help in digestion, because these glands secrete digestive enzymes, or also we call as digestive juice. So we have liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. So these are the accessory glands which help in digestion. So this is again the complete set of digestive system. Now let us learn the function of each part of digestive system. The mouth. So in mouth, the food is chewed and broken down into smaller pieces, and food also gets mixed with saliva, and saliva contains an enzyme called as salivary amylase that digests or that breaks down the carbohydrates or the starch. So once more, food is broken down into smaller pieces, digests starch. Again, one thing, it also kills germs and moistens food. The esophagus. So esophagus is like a bridge between the mouth and the stomach, where it makes the food to travel from the mouth to the stomach. So next is the stomach. Stomach is like a pouch. It's like a bag that temporarily stores the food. It also kills the germs, and it digests protein, and the food is further broken down into the smaller particles called chyme. And next one we have a small intestine. The small intestine, the major digestion and absorption happens in the small intestine. And small intestine itself secretes the digestive juice, and the digestive juice or digestive enzymes secreted by the pancreas and liver also go to the small intestine for digestion. Then we have the large intestine. The large intestine reabsorbs water, stores the undigested food, and it also absorbs the vitamins. Next we have is the anus, and before the anus, actually we should be having the rectum, where the feces is stored for a while, and finally the feces is feces is removed from the body through the opening called as anus. So then we have the accessory organs, or we have accessory glands. The liver is the largest gland in our human body, and it secretes juice, the digestive juice called as the bile. And the bile is stored in gallbladder, and bile mainly helps in breaking the fats. So gallbladder stores bile, and we have the pancreas. So pancreas produces enzymes that digest starch and proteins. So now I'm going to show you the pictures of different parts of digestive system, and I want you to recognize. You can even note down in your book. Okay, the first one. The first one is called, okay, I'm sure you have written liver. The second part, the small one, I'm sure all of you have recognized it as gallbladder. Then third one, I'm sure 100% of you get the correct answer, that is the large intestine. Then fourth one we have is a pathway from which connects the mouth to the stomach, that is the esophagus. Then next we have the small intestine. Then the next is a digestive accessory gland, that is pancreas, and finally we have the stomach. I'm sure all of you have got the correct answer. Okay, now let's move to the process of digestion. So I'm going to explain in detail about how the digestion, the whole process takes place. Okay, first, the food is taken in mouth, and food is chewed with the help of teeth, mixed with the saliva, and in the saliva there is an enzyme called as salivary amylase, and the salivary amylase it digests starch. So next we have the esophagus. So esophagus is like a bridge between the mouth and the stomach. It helps the food to transport from the mouth to the stomach. And next we have the stomach. The food is carried from the mouth to the stomach with the help of esophagus. And in the stomach, the food is mixed with the gastric juice, the hydrochloric acid, and it is further broken down into smaller particles called chyme. And here, because of the acid, the bacteria, the germs are killed, making the food even safer. And from the stomach, the food moves to the small intestine. And here in the small intestine, the maximum digestion and absorption happen. With the help of the digestive enzymes and digestive juice secreted by different digestive accessory glands, and also the digestive enzymes secreted by the intestine, the lining of intestine, the digestion, the maximum digestion happens. And after the digestion, the digested food, the smaller unit of the digested food like the glucose, the amino acid, the fatty acids and glycerol are absorbed by the lining of the intestine. Then the lining of the intestine consists of a villi which can absorb the digested food. Then the undigested food moves to the large intestine. In the large intestine, the water is reabsorbed, even the vitamins are reabsorbed, and the undigested food is stored for some time. And finally, the undigested food moves to the rectum. And when it moves to the rectum, it is called as feces. And once the undigested food, the feces reaches the rectum, then we feel like visiting the toilet. Then finally, the feces, or commonly called as stool, is removed out from our body through the opening called as anus. So these parts, the liver, the gallbladder and pancreas, these are, once more I want to tell it, that they are the accessory glands which help in digestion. So this is the whole process of digestion. Now let us have a video clip on digestion so that you become even more clear about the whole process of digestion.
In digestion, food is changed by the organs into a soluble form to be absorbed by the body. Food in the mouth is mixed with saliva. Saliva begins to dissolve the food as the teeth grind and cut it. Food is forced back into the throat, pharynx, by the tongue. Food in the pharynx stimulates the swallowing reflex. The larynx is pulled upward to meet the epiglottis and seal off the trachea. Food goes from the pharynx to the esophagus. Food moves down the esophagus by peristalsis. The peristaltic wave reaches the esophageal sphincter and food enters the stomach. The unique muscular structure of the stomach breaks up the food into small pieces called chyme. Chyme exits through the pyloric sphincter into the duodenum of the small intestine. The major portion of absorption and digestion occurs in the small intestine. The mucosa secrete enzymes that supplement the digestive enzymes of the pancreas and liver. This completes the chemical process of digestion. The walls are covered with villi where nutrient absorption takes place. The structure of each villus contains a capillary and lacteal to pick up the digested nutrients. The nutrients are now transported by the blood to all the cells of the body. The undigested food reaches the ileocecal valve and enters the large intestine or colon. The colon absorbs water, manufactures vitamins, produces mucus, and forms and expels feces. Mass peristalsis pushes the feces into the rectum, which stimulates the defecation reflex.
Okay, thank you for watching the video, and I'm sure this video has made you even more clearer about the digestion, the whole process. Now let us have an exercise on digestion, the whole process. So having heard about how the digestion happens, having watched the video on digestion, I'm sure you are able to complete the whole exercise. We have the paragraph on digestion. So the digestion of food begins in, you can guess the answer, begins in the mouth. The next, the dash is partly broken down by chewing and by the action of salivary amylase. The correct word should be the food. The food is partly broken down by chewing and by the action of salivary amylase. The next step, the chewed food reaches the dash through esophagus. So your expected answer should be stomach. The chewed food reaches the stomach through the esophagus. The next, with the help of hydrochloric acid and dash juice, the food is then converted into a semi-solid state called chyme. So the expected word is the gastric. With the help of gastric juice, hydrochloric acid and gastric juice, the food is then converted into a semi-solid state called chyme. In the small intestine, the chyme is completely digested by the action of intestinal juice, bile and dash juice. And it should be the pancreatic juice. The next step, the soluble food is then absorbed in the small intestine through dash. The absorbed food molecules enter the bloodstream through the blood capillaries present in the villi. So, the soluble food is then absorbed in the small intestine through villi. Blood then dash the absorbed food molecules to all the cells of the body. So your expected word should be transports. The blood then transports the absorbed food molecules to all cells of the body. Then we have the undigested food in the small intestine passes into the dash intestine. So your expected word should be the large intestine. So finally, this undigested food is passed out of the body through the dash in a semi-solid form called feces. Your expected word should be the anus. Finally, undigested food, the feces, is removed out of the body through the opening called as anus. So, with this, we have come to the end of the whole process of digestion. Now, I want you to explore yourself with some questions. The first question, why is energy not released soon after eating the food? And second question, so based on this diagram, I want you to identify this alimentary canal or alimentary organ under the alimentary canal. So how does it help in process of digestion? So I want you to explore. You can refer your book, you can discuss with your friend, even ask your parents, or you can even Google out to get the answers for these questions. So thank you for listening and attending my lesson. See you next time in my next lesson.